girls, and welcome back. So it's language arts time, and today we're going to look for Israel on our globe. Let's see. Here's the globe. Remember this one, right? This is my globe at home. Israel is just about over there. That's really hard to see, right? So let's try another way. It's a little bit easier. But here we have a map of the Middle East, and looking for Israel, it's this little orange space in between Lebanon and Egypt. There it is, very small. How about taking a look at an actual globe? That will be exciting. So here is a satellite image of our planet, like we've seen before in Google Earth. And there you see it's on its axis, remember 23 degrees. So now we're going to take a look at the globe in a little different way to look for Israel. So we'll straighten it up, take away the actual tilt. Remember, it doesn't really rotate this way, it's actually leaning. And we're also going to stop the rotation. And now take a look. Let's see. Let's look for our political map. It's going to show us exactly the area where Israel is. All right, remember it's between these two areas, and there is Israel right there. Here, let's see if I can make it a little bigger. Wow, that's hard to see, but that's Israel in there. Remember, Lebanon and Egypt are on its neighboring sides. Has a border with Egypt and a border with Lebanon. So that's Israel. Real small, huh? Okay, now let's take a look. So if we look at the terrain or the type of vegetation and geography around, you're going to see that it's kind of brownish, beige. What kind of vegetation do you think grows there? As compared, let's say, to this area here, which is green. This area over here is green. This is kind of white. So if you guessed rocky and sandy, I would agree with you because that really is a color. It has a tiny bit of green here, but right where Israel is not very green, maybe a tiny bit. So if you want to imagine the land where Jesus walked, now you kind of know where it is on the globe. You also know what the area looked like. Here, we can put it back in rotation, tilt the earth back to its normal tilt, and there you have it. So now we know basically where Israel is located on the globe and what it might look like up close. Well, what kind of houses do you think used to be found in Israel? I'm not talking about today if you get on an airplane and travel. I'm talking about a long time ago. Well, some people in Israel lived in caves. Their homes were inside of caves. And here we can see generally built into the hillside, there's an opening. Let's see if we can scroll through. They all look kind of dry. There's some vegetation. There's some grass growing around, but it looks like a pretty dry area. Ooh, this looks like an apartment dwelling, right? Kind of like a building complex. So let's see if we can look. Well, this is actually homes that people built. Let me go back one slide. So I don't think any of these show like the actual furniture. They don't show the actual furniture, but I'm imagining that a home built into a cave in the side of a hill would have very, very simple furniture. What do you think? Right? I don't think we would expect to see like tablecloths and lots of chairs and beds. Probably very simple. Well, then in the next slide, these are homes that people built at around the time that Jesus was born and raised in Israel. So So here you can see very, very different style of life. They mostly look kind of square or rectangular, right? Look, there's the stairs going up. This one has a thatched roof made out of leaves from a tree. And in fact, many of these homes were made from straw, which is dry grass, and from sand or mud stuck together and dried, maybe baked. Okay, let's take another closer look. So this is supposedly the kind of place where Mary and Joseph might have stopped to ask for a place to rest when Mary was ready to give birth to Jesus. And look, this is down here, clearly a stable, right? It has a gate, there's a goat, chickens running free, and there are people just walking around. And up here it says that's the living space. So that I imagine might be a bedroll to open up at nighttime. And it looks like a couple of ladies are getting ready for food, lunch, dinner. And there's even ladders going from the first to the second floor, and then from the second floor up to the roof. And the roof is made with straw. Here's a nice close-up. The roof is made with straw. It says mud brick walls covered with clay and straw. Remember we talked about clay being a special kind of mud that's usually found in a riverbank, and it bakes nicely in the oven and stays hard. So that would make that nice straight wall that we see. Far cry from the caves, right? Wow. This is possibly the inside of a house during the time that Jesus lived, a biblical time house. And you can see there's different kinds of pots for different purposes. What do you think these pots are for? Well, in my imagination, I have to remember there were no bathrooms. So I'm imagining that might be a pot you might use in the middle of the night if you had to go to the bathroom. And, well, there it is. Clean it out in the morning, right? And assorted other baskets for different purposes. And the beds. The beds basically are cushions, right? A little bit of a blanket. They're basically pillows and cushions. Interesting. Not a whole lot of space. How does that compare to the house where you live now? How is it the same or different? This is possibly the kitchen in Jesus' time, biblical time kitchen. You see a lot of pots. What do you think they're made out of? Probably clay also, right? Like the walls. Yeah, the artisans, the potters probably made these with their hands and baked them in an oven, very, very hot oven. Oh, there's something hanging here. Bet that might be garlic. Looks good. And onions. So you see all kinds of baskets, simple tables. I don't see chairs. Don't know if they had chairs. But as you can see, at least they have shelves for holding things. They have different kinds of pots for different purposes. Some flat sort of bowls, plates, maybe for eating, carrying food. This might be a water jug. Oh, and speaking of water, in these homes, water generally was brought each day. Maybe this held water. And only the wealthiest, the richest people would have something called a cistern, which would be a hole in the floor to hold just a little bit more water, because I imagine this water would finish very quickly between hand washing, drinking, cooking. Think of all the ways we use water. We just turn on the faucet and it runs, right? That was not the case in Bible times. So here's a challenge. I wonder, let's take a look. I wonder if among the art materials in your house, if you could put together one or more Bible time style homes. Look, this is completely made out of paper. There's even sheep made out of paper. Looks like camels. And interestingly, there's different kinds of buildings. Even a cat, I wonder. Well, I'd be so curious. I'd be so excited to see if you could put together some kind of biblical town or a home or the inside of a home. It's completely up to your imagination. But you do have these resources to look at, and I will send you the links so that you can check out all of the interesting designs for homes and where people live. And I'll send you the link for this because this is such a lot of fun. All right, thank you for joining me for Language Arts Time, and I'll see you in a little while for phonics.